Hello, my dear friends. Today, I want to share a story that many of you might relate to: the fear of speaking English in public. This is not just about learning English, but about the emotional battle that comes with it. The nervousness, self-doubt, and fear of making mistakes. Many people understand English. They can read and write. But when it comes to speaking in front of others, they freeze. If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. Meet Emma Carter, a 20-year-old college student from New York, United States. She is a hardworking and ambitious girl, studying business administration at a well-known university. But despite her confidence in many areas of life, she had one major struggle: speaking English fluently in public. Even though English was her second language and she had studied it for years, every time she had to speak in class, introduce herself, or talk in front of people, her heart would race, her hands would sweat, and her mind would go blank. Emma had big dreams. She wanted to become a successful businesswoman, attend international conferences, and confidently express her ideas. But one fear was holding her back: the fear of speaking English in public. This is her journey of how she overcame it, step by step, and how you can do the same. Emma's story. The struggle with public speaking. Emma had always been a bright student. She excelled in writing assignments and scored well on exams. But the moment she had to speak in front of the class, she felt as if her whole body froze. One of her worst experiences happened in her first year of college. The professor asked everyone to introduce themselves on the first day. Emma saw other students confidently speaking, some even making jokes. But when it was her turn, she stood up, looked at everyone, and felt a wave of panic. Her mouth felt dry, her voice trembled, and she could barely finish her sentences. I am Emma. I am studying, business. She could hear a few whispers and giggles. Her mind told her that everyone was judging her, even though in reality, most people were just waiting for their turn. She sat down, her face red with embarrassment. From that day on, she avoided speaking in class as much as possible. She never raised her hand, even when she knew the right answer. She avoided group discussions because she was afraid her pronunciation might be wrong. She felt anxious every time she had to order food at a restaurant or talk to a cashier at the store. Emma's biggest fear wasn't just speaking. It was the fear of making mistakes and being laughed at. She felt like people would think she was not smart if she mispronounced a word or used incorrect grammar. This fear stopped her from improving. She knew she had to change, but she didn't know where to start. The turning point: deciding to overcome her fear. Everything changed when Emma had to give a presentation in her second year of college. It was a major part of her grade, and she couldn't avoid it. For weeks, she worried about it. The thought of standing in front of her classmates made her stomach hurt. But then, she had a realization. If she didn't face this fear, she would never achieve her dreams. She started thinking about successful business people she admired. Many of them were not native English speakers, yet they spoke with confidence. They made mistakes too, but they didn't let it stop them. Emma made a decision. Instead of running away from her fear, she would fight it and improve step by step. Steps Emma took to overcome her fear. 1. Practicing every day. Emma realized that speaking English is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. She made a rule for herself: speak in English for at least 30 minutes every day, even if she was alone. Talk to herself in English, describing what she was doing or thinking. Read aloud to improve her pronunciation. At first, she felt silly talking to herself, but soon, she noticed that words started coming out more naturally. 2. Recording herself and listening. One of Emma's biggest fears was how she sounded when she spoke English. To overcome this, she recorded herself speaking about different topics. When she listened to her recordings, she realized that her English was not as bad as she thought. Yes, she made some mistakes, but she also noticed her strengths. This boosted her confidence. 3. Speaking with native speakers. Emma joined an English conversation club at her university. It was terrifying at first, But she quickly learned an important lesson. Native speakers don't care if you make mistakes. They encouraged her and even helped her correct certain phrases. She also made new friends, which made the experience enjoyable. She also started having small conversations with strangers, ordering coffee, asking for directions, or chatting with classmates. Each conversation built her confidence little by little. Controlling nervousness with deep breathing before speaking in class or at meetings, Emma practiced deep breathing. She found that slow, deep breaths calmed her nerves and made her feel more in control. She also reminded herself, mistakes are normal. People are not judging me as much as I think. Every time I speak, I'm improving. 5. Watching and imitating confident speakers. Emma started watching TED Talks, business presentations, and interviews of successful people who spoke English confidently. She paid attention to how they pronounced words, their body language, how they structured their sentences. Then, she practiced copying their style in front of a mirror. 6. Celebrating small wins. Every time Emma successfully spoke in English, whether it was a small classroom discussion or ordering food at a restaurant, she celebrated it. She wrote down her progress. Today, I answered a question in class. I had a 5-minute conversation with a classmate in English. I gave my presentation without panicking. This reminded her that she was improving every day. The big test, Emma's presentation. The day of the big presentation arrived. Emma felt nervous, but this time she was prepared. She took a deep breath, walked to the front of the class, and began speaking. She made a few mistakes, but she didn't stop. Instead of panicking, she kept going, smiled, and focused on her message. When she finished, her classmates clapped. Her professor even praised her for her confidence and clarity. For the first time in her life, Emma felt proud of her English-speaking skills. After that pivotal presentation, Emma Carter's world began to shift in ways she had never imagined. In the weeks that followed, her newfound confidence became the quiet undercurrent of her everyday life. Each morning, as the sun rose over the bustling streets of New York City, Emma woke with a renewed sense of purpose. Her journey toward overcoming the fear of speaking English in public had not ended. It was evolving into a lifelong commitment to growth, self-expression, and connection. Emma's days started to fill with opportunities to test her skills in real-world scenarios. She still remembered the jittery moments of her first presentation, when every heartbeat felt louder than her voice. But now, with each interaction, she found that her once paralyzing anxiety was slowly being replaced by determination. In her business classes at the university, Emma began volunteering to answer questions, even when her hands trembled slightly as she raised them. Each time she spoke, she recalled the deep breathing exercises and the positive affirmations that had become her secret tools. One crisp autumn afternoon, Emma's professor, Dr. Lewis, announced that the class would be hosting a panel discussion on the future of international business. Dr. Lewis specifically mentioned that he was looking for students who had overcome personal challenges, and he encouraged them to share real-life experiences. The announcement stirred something deep inside Emma. She saw this as another chance, a stage where she could share not only her academic insights, but also the personal battles she had fought to find her voice. In the days that followed, Emma spent long hours preparing for the panel. She researched global business trends, organized her thoughts, and even wrote out her ideas in detailed notes. But what mattered most was the section where she planned to speak about her personal journey. With each revision of her speech, memories of the fear that once gripped her began to fade, replaced by the pride of knowing how far she had come. When the day of the panel arrived, Emma felt a mixture of nervous excitement and calm resolve. The venue was a bright, modern lecture hall at her university, filled with professors, peers, and even a few local business leaders. Emma sat quietly in the audience at first, listening as her fellow panelists introduced themselves. One of them, a confident senior student named Michael, even shared a brief anecdote about his own struggles with public speaking. Hearing him speak so candidly made Emma feel less alone in her journey. Finally, it was her turn. Emma walked up to the microphone, her heart beating steadily. As she began to speak, she recalled the countless hours of practice, the recordings of her voice, and the many conversations in the English club that had all led to this moment. Her voice was clear and measured as she described the terror of her first day in college and the gradual, sometimes painful steps she had taken to overcome that fear. She spoke of the deep breaths taken in moments of panic, the supportive nods of classmates in the English conversation club, and the small victories, each one a brick in the foundation of her growing confidence. In one particularly moving moment, Emma paused and looked out at the audience, her eyes glistening with honest vulnerability. "I used to think that every mistake I made would define me," she said softly. "I believed that mispronunciations and stumbles were signs of failure. But I learned that each misstep is just another step forward on the path to improvement. Every time I speak, I'm not just communicating, I'm growing, learning, and connecting." Her words resonated deeply with those listening, and as she concluded, a warm round of applause filled the room. That day, Emma's speech not only marked a significant milestone in her personal journey, but also ignited a spark in others. After the panel, several students approached her, sharing their own struggles with public speaking and thanking her for her courage. One of them, a shy junior named Rebecca, confessed that hearing Emma's story had inspired her to finally join the English club. Emma's openness had created a ripple effect, an unspoken pact of support among those who had once felt alone in their fear. Encouraged by this response, Emma began to expand her efforts beyond the classroom. Determined to use her experience to help others, she volunteered at a community center in her neighborhood. Every Saturday morning, Emma led a small group of non-native English speakers who gathered to practice conversation. The group was diverse, people from all over the world, each with their own story and struggle. In that cozy room, with mismatched chairs and colorful posters on the walls, Emma transformed her personal challenges into collective empowerment. She shared the techniques that had helped her: daily practice, recording and listening to oneself, engaging with native speakers, and even the simple act of celebrating every small win. One afternoon during a group session, an elderly gentleman named Mr. Hernandez hesitantly joined the conversation. His English was halting, and his voice trembled as he spoke about his dreams of reuniting with family in the United States. Emma listened intently, her heart filled with empathy. After Mr. Hernandez finished speaking, Emma gently offered, "Your story is powerful, and every word you share brings you closer to that dream." Her encouragement was more than words. It was a tangible reminder that fear could be overcome, one conversation at a time. Mr. Hernandez's eyes lit up with hope, and from that day forward, he became one of the most regular attendees, his confidence growing with each session. At the university, Emma's reputation as a resilient, inspiring speaker continued to flourish. Soon, she was invited to participate in an international student conference held in Boston. The conference was a melting pot of ideas and cultures, and Emma was tasked with presenting a paper on emerging business trends in a globalized economy. While the subject matter was challenging, it was the prospect of addressing an international audience that stirred both excitement and anxiety within her. This was not just another class assignment. It was an opportunity to step onto a larger stage, where her words could reach beyond the familiar walls of her university. In the weeks leading up to the conference, Emma intensified her preparations. She spent countless hours in the campus library, poring over research articles and case studies. Every spare moment was devoted to perfecting her speech. She met with a mentor, Professor Daniels, whose gentle guidance helped refine her arguments and polish her delivery. Professor Daniels recalled his own early days of overcoming language barriers and stressed the importance of embracing imperfections as part of the learning process. His words bolstered Emma's resolve, and together they worked to craft a presentation that was as insightful as it was personal. The conference venue in Boston was a grand hall, filled with an air of anticipation and intellectual curiosity. Emma's presentation slot arrived amid a busy schedule of keynote speakers and panel discussions. As she stepped up to the podium, she felt a calm determination envelop her. The room was filled with faces from around the world, some curious, some skeptical, and many eager to learn. Emma took a slow, deep breath, remembering all the lessons she had learned from her journey. With a confident smile, she began to speak. Her presentation was a blend of rigorous research and heartfelt narrative. She explained how businesses could benefit from the diverse perspectives that arise when language barriers are overcome. But she didn't stop at theories and statistics. She interwove her personal experience, recounting the initial terror of public speaking, the doubts that once haunted her, and the gradual triumphs that built her confidence. Every so often, she paused to let her words sink in, using gestures that reflected the sincerity of her emotions. As the presentation concluded, a hush fell over the room, a moment of collective reflection on the journey from fear to empowerment. Then came a spontaneous round of applause, warm and genuine. In that moment, Emma realized that her struggle had transformed into a source of strength, not only for herself, but for everyone who had ever doubted their ability to speak up. Returning to New York after the conference, Emma felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her journey had taught her that overcoming fear was not a linear path, but a series of moments, each one building upon the last. There were still days when she felt a twinge of nervousness before a meeting or an unexpected moment of self-doubt during a conversation. But each time, she recalled the lessons of the past: practice, perseverance, and the understanding that every mistake was a stepping stone toward improvement. Emma's transformation also sparked changes in her personal life. Friends and family noticed the subtle shift in her demeanor. She was more open, more expressive, and more willing to engage in discussions that once intimidated her. Her parents, who had always been supportive but worried about her silence in public settings, began to see a new side of their daughter, a confident young woman who was unafraid to let her voice be heard. At family gatherings, Emma shared stories of her experiences, offering gentle advice to relatives who had their own anxieties. Her narrative became a bridge that connected different generations, uniting them in the belief that courage could be cultivated with time and effort. In the bustling corridors of her university, Emma also found herself taking on leadership roles in group projects and student organizations. Her peers looked to her not just for academic insights, but for the calm assurance that came from knowing she had battled and overcome her fears. One memorable afternoon, while coordinating a campus-wide event, Emma was tasked with hosting a live Q&A session. Standing on a small stage in front of an enthusiastic crowd, she felt a familiar flutter of nerves. Yet, with a reassuring smile, she welcomed questions and engaged in thoughtful dialogue. Each question was met with the same measured calmness, a testament to her growth. By the end of the session, many students approached her, expressing their gratitude for her openness and for demonstrating that vulnerability was not a weakness but a strength. Over time, Emma began to see that her journey was not just about public speaking, it was about embracing her true self. The fear of speaking English in public had been a barrier that kept her from fully expressing the ideas and passions that lay within her. By confronting that fear, she had unlocked a deeper understanding of her own potential. She discovered that the power of communication was not solely in flawless grammar or perfect pronunciation, but in the authenticity of one's voice. Emma's story soon caught the attention of local media. A popular online magazine in the United States reached out to interview her about her experiences and the transformative journey she had undergone. Sitting down for the interview in a sunlit corner of a New York cafe, Emma reflected on the many twists and turns of her path. She spoke candidly about the sleepless nights filled with self-doubt, the moments of exhilaration when she successfully engaged in a lively debate, and the quiet triumphs that came from practicing in front of a mirror. The article, titled "From Silence to Strength: Emma Carter's Journey Beyond Fear," resonated with readers across the nation, inspiring countless individuals who had once felt imprisoned by their own anxieties. In the months that followed, invitations to speak at community events, university seminars, and even corporate workshops began to pour in. Each opportunity presented Emma with a chance to refine her message and extend her influence. In one particularly impactful workshop held at a local high school, Emma addressed a group of teenagers grappling with their own insecurities about speaking English. She shared her personal struggles in vivid detail, the stutter of her early attempts, the paralyzing fear of being judged, and the gradual process of learning to trust her own voice. The room was filled with attentive faces, and as Emma finished her talk, a young student approached her with tears in his eyes, whispering, "I never thought I could ever be brave enough to speak in front of others. Thank you for showing me it's possible." That moment reaffirmed for Emma that her battle was not just about overcoming a personal obstacle, it was about lighting the way for others to follow. Beyond public engagements, Emma's academic journey also took on new dimensions. Inspired by her own experiences, she began exploring the intersection of communication, language, and business in her coursework. Her research projects delved into topics such as cross-cultural communication and the role of language proficiency in global market success. Emma collaborated with international students and professors, engaging in lively debates and research discussions that enriched her understanding of the subject. Each paper she wrote, each presentation she delivered, became a testament to her commitment to breaking down language barriers, both for herself and for others who faced similar struggles. In quiet moments of reflection, Emma often thought back to that first presentation, the nervous silence, and the embarrassing stumbles that once haunted her memory. Those experiences, painful as they had been, now served as reminders of her resilience. They were chapters in a story of transformation that was still being written. With every new conversation, every public speech, and every smile exchanged in a moment of genuine connection, Emma was not just overcoming her fear, she was redefining it. Today, Emma Carter continues to walk a path of continuous learning and empowerment. Her journey, filled with challenges and triumphs, is a living narrative that inspires others to confront their own fears. Whether speaking at an international conference in Boston, leading a community discussion in her hometown, or simply engaging in a heartfelt conversation with a friend, Emma embodies the idea that courage is built one word at a time. Her story is a powerful reminder that overcoming the fear of speaking English in public is not an endpoint but an evolving process, a journey that transforms vulnerability into strength and hesitation into action. Emma's new chapter began shortly after her inspiring college days. With her reputation for authenticity and courage preceding her, Emma soon found herself stepping into the bustling realm of professional life in New York City, a world where every conversation and meeting was an opportunity to learn and lead. Embracing the corporate world upon landing a position at a prominent global communications firm, Emma discovered that the boardrooms and brainstorming sessions were as diverse as the people who populated them. In this new environment, she encountered colleagues from all corners of the globe, each with their own communication styles and cultural backgrounds. While she was no stranger to overcoming language challenges, the fast pace of corporate dialogues tested her ability to think on her feet in ways she had never experienced before. Her first major project involved collaborating on an international marketing campaign. The task required coordinating with teams in London, Tokyo, and Berlin, a challenge that demanded not only impeccable language skills, but also a deep understanding of cultural nuances. Emma spent long nights studying regional idioms and business etiquettes, determined to bridge communication gaps and build genuine connections across borders. During one particularly intense brainstorming session, Emma was entrusted with moderating a discussion on adapting the campaign for a multicultural audience. In front of senior executives and international partners, she deftly guided the conversation, posing thoughtful questions and summarizing key points in clear, concise English. The meeting concluded with a unanimous agreement on a strategy that was both innovative and respectful of each region's distinct flavor. This success not only bolstered her confidence, but also cemented her reputation as an empathetic leader who could unite people through the power of language. Fostering a culture of confidence. Outside the polished corridors of corporate offices, Emma found herself drawn to community projects that echoed her own journey. Motivated by the desire to help others who struggled with language barriers, she initiated a program called Voices United. This initiative brought together individuals from varied backgrounds, new immigrants, international students, and even local residents eager to improve their English conversational skills, in weekly workshops held at a community center in downtown New York. The sessions were unlike any formal class. Instead of rigid curricula, Emma encouraged participants to share their personal stories and challenges. One evening, a soft-spoken man from Guatemala recounted how learning English had opened doors to job opportunities he never thought possible, while a young woman from South Korea described her excitement about finally feeling at home in her new country. Emma moderated these heartfelt exchanges, offering gentle corrections and celebrating every attempt to express oneself, however imperfectly. Through Voices United, she built an environment where mistakes were stepping stones rather than setbacks, a living testament to the lessons she had learned on her own path. Navigating new personal milestones in her personal life, Emma continued to evolve. Balancing work and community service was challenging, yet she found time to nurture friendships that enriched her daily experiences. Invited to social gatherings and cultural events, Emma embraced every opportunity to converse in English, often engaging in discussions on art, music, and literature. These interactions, sometimes lighthearted and other times deeply introspective, allowed her to explore topics far removed from the boardroom. One memorable evening, at an art exhibit in a trendy Manhattan gallery, Emma met Marcus, a graphic designer with an infectious passion for storytelling through visuals. Their conversation, which flowed effortlessly from discussions about abstract art to shared anecdotes about their cultural roots, was a revelation. Marcus confided that he had always admired individuals who could express themselves openly despite language barriers. Their connection sparked a creative collaboration, with Marcus designing posters for Voices United and Emma sharing her journey in a series of blog posts. Their partnership became a fusion of art and advocacy, highlighting how overcoming personal fears could inspire broader social change. A journey of mentorship and growth, recognizing that her transformation was far from complete, Emma also took on the role of mentor. She began hosting informal coffee chats with junior employees and interns at her firm, many of whom were grappling with similar insecurities. In these one-on-one sessions, Emma shared practical techniques, like mindful pauses during speech and the importance of pre-meeting rehearsals, while also emphasizing the value of self-compassion. Her mentoring sessions quickly became popular, and soon she was invited to lead a company-wide workshop on effective communication. The workshop was a dynamic mix of interactive exercises, role-playing, and real-life scenarios that allowed participants to experiment with new strategies in a safe space. During one such session, a young intern named Sophia timidly expressed her fear of presenting in front of large audiences. Emma listened carefully and then recounted a particularly challenging moment from her past, when every word felt like a battle. Sophia's eyes brightened as Emma explained how every experience had taught her that fear was not a barrier, but a signal to prepare and persevere. By the end of the workshop, Sophia not only volunteered to lead a small project discussion, but also thanked Emma for showing her that vulnerability was a strength to be celebrated. This ripple effect of confidence reaffirmed Emma's belief that each act of courage contributed to a more inclusive and supportive environment. Venturing into new horizons. As the years passed, Emma's journey took an unexpected turn when she received an invitation to represent her firm at a global summit on cross-cultural communication held in San Francisco. This event was to be a confluence of thought leaders, industry innovators, and cultural ambassadors, all converging to explore how language could serve as a bridge in an increasingly interconnected world. In preparation for the summit, Emma immersed herself in research and interactive sessions with experts from various fields. She explored cutting-edge communication technologies, studied the impact of digital media on global dialogue, and even took a short course on intercultural negotiation techniques. Her goal was to deliver a keynote address that would encapsulate the essence of overcoming communication barriers, not only as a personal victory, but as a societal imperative. On the day of the summit, Emma's keynote was met with anticipation. Standing before a diverse audience in a state-of-the-art auditorium, she recounted her evolution from a timid student to a confident speaker and mentor. Her speech seamlessly wove together personal anecdotes, practical insights, and visionary ideas for a future where language differences would no longer divide but unite. The audience responded with a standing ovation, and later, numerous delegates approached her, eager to learn more about Voices United and her methods for fostering confidence. Building a legacy inspired by the overwhelming response at the summit, Emma began to think bigger. She collaborated with a renowned nonprofit organization dedicated to educational empowerment, and together they launched a nationwide initiative aimed at equipping young people with the tools to overcome language barriers in academic and professional settings. The initiative involved creating interactive digital modules, hosting regional workshops, and establishing a mentorship network that connected students with professionals who had traversed similar paths. Emma traveled extensively across the United States, from community centers in small towns to universities in major cities, sharing her insights and listening to the unique challenges faced by different communities. In every corner of the country, she encountered stories of resilience and determination. In one Midwestern town, she met a group of high school students who, despite limited resources, had formed a language club that met in a local library. Their determination reminded her of her own beginnings and fueled her commitment to ensuring that every voice, regardless of background, had a chance to be heard. As her work gained recognition, Emma found herself receiving invitations to participate in televised discussions and radio interviews, where she elaborated on the transformative power of effective communication. While these appearances brought a new level of public attention, Emma remained grounded. Her focus was always on the individuals whose lives she touched, those who, like her, had once been silenced by fear, but were now finding their voices. Personal reflections and future aspirations. Late one evening, as Emma sat in her modest apartment overlooking the twinkling city lights, she took a moment to reflect on the winding path that had brought her to this point. The journey had been filled with moments of doubt, intense effort, and ultimately, profound transformation. Every challenge had reinforced her belief that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. Emma began to document her reflections in a journal, capturing the lessons learned and the moments of breakthrough that had defined her evolution. She penned down aspirations for the future, visions of a world where language was a source of connection rather than division, where every individual could communicate without the weight of self-doubt. In her journal, she dreamed of expanding Voices United into an international movement, a global network of communities united by the belief that language proficiency and confidence could transform lives. Her writings soon evolved into a book, a memoir of sorts, that detailed her journey from hesitation to empowerment. Unlike traditional autobiographies, Emma's book was interspersed with practical advice, exercises, and reflections designed to guide readers through their own battles with language anxiety. She envisioned the book as a companion for anyone who had ever felt voiceless, a testament to the transformative power of perseverance and self-belief. A ripple effect of transformation. Emma's influence continued to expand as she connected with leaders from various sectors. In one instance, she was invited to a roundtable discussion on education reform, where policymakers debated strategies for integrating communication skills into the national curriculum. Emma shared her perspective on the importance of early exposure to language practice and the need to create environments where students felt safe to experiment and fail. Her insights, drawn from years of personal experience, resonated with the attendees, sparking discussions on innovative educational models that prioritized expressive freedom alongside academic rigor. In another memorable encounter, Emma was invited to a tech startup's innovation lab. The young entrepreneurs there were developing an app aimed at facilitating real-time language exchange among users. They sought Emma's feedback on user engagement strategies and ways to incorporate motivational elements into the platform. Emma's suggestions, grounded in her own journey of small daily practices and continuous self-improvement, helped shape the app's design. In return, the startup integrated a feature that allowed users to share their small wins, a digital space where every milestone was celebrated as a victory over silence. The ongoing journey. Even as Emma achieved professional milestones and personal breakthroughs, she never lost sight of the core values that had ignited her transformation. Every new challenge was met with the same spirit of curiosity and resilience that had first propelled her to confront her fears. Emma continued to refine her communication skills, attending workshops, engaging in cross-cultural dialogues, and even exploring creative writing as a means of self-expression. Her journey was a living narrative, a mosaic of experiences that reminded her and those around her that growth was a continuous process. Emma's path was not without setbacks. There were days when unexpected hurdles, technical glitches during presentations, moments of self-doubt in high-pressure meetings, or cultural misunderstandings in international negotiations reminded her that mastery was never complete. Yet, these moments only reinforced her commitment to lifelong learning. Instead of retreating, she embraced these challenges as opportunities to adapt and evolve, each experience adding a new layer of depth to her understanding of effective communication. Inspiring future generations. In time, Emma's work began to inspire an entire generation of young professionals and students. Universities invited her to establish communication centers dedicated to nurturing talent, and local governments recognized her contributions with awards that celebrated innovation in education and community development. Through seminars, workshops, and online courses, Emma reached thousands of individuals who were eager to transform their fear into a source of empowerment. Among those whose lives she touched was a bright student named Alicia, who struggled with her own anxieties about public speaking. Alicia reached out to Emma after attending one of her workshops, sharing how the session had given her the courage to join a debate club at her college. Emma's guidance and unwavering belief in Alicia's potential led the young student to excel in competitions and ultimately secure a scholarship to a prestigious university. Stories like Alicia's became a recurring source of inspiration for Emma, a tangible reminder that every act of sharing her journey created ripples of positive change. Looking ahead, today, Emma's vision stretches far beyond the boundaries of New York City or the corridors of corporate boardrooms. She dreams of a future where language is celebrated as a bridge connecting diverse cultures, where every individual has the opportunity to express themselves without fear. With Voices United, expanding its digital presence, and forming partnerships with international organizations, Emma is laying the groundwork for a movement that transcends geographical borders. In her quiet moments, when the city's rhythm slows and she reflects on her journey, Emma feels a profound gratitude for every challenge, every small victory, and every conversation that helped shape her into the confident communicator she is now. Her story, still unfolding, is a testament to the transformative power of embracing one's voice. Each new experience, a reminder that overcoming fear is not a destination, but a continuous, empowering journey. As she prepares for her next adventure, a series of workshops in Europe designed to bring together aspiring speakers from around the world, Emma knows that her journey will continue to be marked by both struggles and triumphs. Yet, with every step forward, she carries with her the lessons of resilience, the warmth of community support, and the belief that every voice has the power to create lasting change. Emma's journey continued to unfold in unexpected and inspiring ways. No longer confined to a single role or geographic location, she began to redefine what it meant to be a leader in the field of cross-cultural communication. Emma's next chapter began when she was invited to join the Global Advisory Board of the International Council for Cross-Cultural Communication, a prestigious organization dedicated to empowering voices from every corner of the world. In this role, Emma traveled to cities and villages alike, working with educators, community leaders, and policymakers to design workshops and training programs that went beyond traditional language instruction. One of her first projects was a series of immersive workshops aimed at helping young professionals from non-English speaking backgrounds to build both fluency and confidence. Drawing on her personal experience, she created a curriculum that balanced practical speaking exercises with mindfulness techniques, ensuring that each participant could turn moments of anxiety into opportunities for growth. Her travels soon took her to Singapore, where she was immersed in a vibrant melting pot of cultures. There, she attended a regional conference where a teacher from Indonesia shared how mastering English had empowered her to preserve and share the nation's rich oral traditions. This powerful moment underscored for Emma that language was not merely a tool for global business. It was a bridge connecting diverse histories and cultures. Inspired by these stories, Emma worked with local organizers to create bilingual programs that celebrated indigenous languages while equipping students with essential communication skills for an increasingly interconnected world. Back in New York, Emma balanced these international commitments with her ongoing work at Voices United. Recognizing the growing importance of digital connectivity, she launched a series of virtual seminars that attracted participants from dozens of countries. In these online sessions, individuals shared personal narratives and exchanged cultural insights in an environment that was both supportive and dynamic. The seminars evolved into a vibrant digital community where every small victory was celebrated, a virtual space where each hello helped dismantle barriers and build lasting friendships. Even as Emma's professional landscape expanded, she continued to invest in her personal growth. Motivated by her travels and the new challenges they presented, she enrolled in advanced leadership courses and even began learning a third language. The process was challenging, but she approached it with the same determination that had fueled her transformation from a timid student to a global advocate for effective communication. Every mispronounced word and every stumbling sentence in her new language journey reminded her of the early days when every attempt at speaking English felt like a monumental challenge, and every step forward was a victory. One crisp winter evening, Emma organized a gala at a historic New York venue to celebrate the milestones of Voices United. The event brought together a diverse group of educators, business leaders, and community members who had all been touched by Emma's work. As she took the stage to deliver her keynote, Emma spoke passionately about the transformative power of language. She recalled the days when fear silenced her voice and expressed her belief that every individual had the right to be heard. Her speech, full of personal anecdotes and hard-won insights, resonated deeply with the audience. The night ended with heartfelt applause and promises to continue the work of uniting voices across cultural divides. At the gala, familiar faces reconnected with Emma, former workshop participants, inspired students, and even colleagues from her early days in the English Conversation Club. Their stories of renewed confidence and personal breakthroughs reaffirmed Emma's mission. Conversations flowed into the night about the power of community, the beauty of shared language, and the endless possibilities that come from embracing vulnerability as a strength. Emboldened by the gala's success, Emma began to envision an even larger impact. She embarked on plans to transform Voices United into a formal foundation dedicated to language education and cross-cultural dialogue. Her vision included scholarship programs, research grants, and international exchange opportunities, all aimed at breaking down language barriers and fostering a global community of confident communicators. With new partnerships forming and a network of supporters expanding around the globe, Emma worked tirelessly to turn her vision into reality. In the midst of these professional triumphs, Emma found that her personal life was blossoming as well. New friendships, and even a few romantic connections, added warmth and balance to her busy schedule. At a small, intimate dinner with friends in a quiet Brooklyn restaurant, she reflected on how far she had come, from the jittery, hesitant student to the confident, world-traveling mentor and leader. Every conversation, whether about art, literature, or the simple joys of everyday life, reaffirmed her belief that language was a living testament to our shared human experience. As Emma prepared for a series of workshops scheduled across Europe, she also began documenting her journey in greater detail. With plans to publish a new book, a blend of memoir and practical guide, she set out to capture the lessons learned from years of overcoming language barriers. The book would be a roadmap for anyone struggling with self-doubt, offering strategies, personal stories, and insights into how small, consistent steps could lead to profound transformation. Even as challenges arose, a difficult negotiation with a new partner, technical setbacks during a live virtual seminar, or the occasional self-doubt that crept in during late-night work sessions, Emma remained steadfast. She had learned that setbacks were not a sign of failure, but a necessary part of any journey toward growth. With each obstacle, she adapted and refined her approach, always moving forward with the quiet confidence of someone who had seen the power of perseverance. Emma Carter's story continues to be written with every new day. Her journey is a vibrant tapestry of challenges met and overcome, of communities united by shared experiences, and of the unwavering belief that every voice matters. As she looks ahead to future adventures, more international travels, innovative educational programs, and deeper personal connections, Emma remains a beacon of hope for all who dare to speak, share, and connect in a world that grows ever more intertwined. Her legacy is one of courage, compassion, and the enduring power of language, a legacy that.
Here are some comprehensive tips and tricks to help overcome the fear of speaking English in public, explained in full detail. 1. Daily practice and immersion. Tip: make English a part of your daily routine. Details: speak to yourself, describe your actions, or narrate your day in English. This helps you build fluency and comfort without the pressure of an audience. Read aloud. Choose articles, books, or even your favorite movie scripts and read them out loud. This helps improve pronunciation and rhythm. Set specific goals. For instance, decide that each day you will learn 5 new words or phrases and use them in sentences. Consistency builds confidence over time. 2. Join conversation clubs and language exchanges. Tip: participate in groups that encourage English speaking in a supportive environment. Details: community groups. Many cities and online platforms host English conversation clubs where people practice together. The informal setting often reduces the pressure and fear of judgment. Language meetups. Look for local meetups or online groups through platforms like Meetup or language exchange websites, where the goal is mutual learning. Peer support. These settings provide immediate feedback and reassurance, letting you see that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Third, record yourself and analyze. Tip: use recording as a tool to monitor your progress. Details: self-assessment. Record your speech or presentations, then listen to them. You may notice improvements over time that you hadn't recognized during the moment. Identify patterns. Pay attention to recurring errors or hesitations. Once you know what you need to work on, you can target those areas specifically. Build confidence. Hearing your own voice improving over time can be a powerful motivator and reduce anxiety about imperfections. Practice deep breathing and relaxation techniques. Tip: manage physical symptoms of anxiety through relaxation. Details: deep breathing. Practice slow, deep breaths before speaking. This can calm your nervous system and reduce physical symptoms of anxiety, such as a racing heart or trembling hands. Mindfulness and meditation. Engage in mindfulness exercises or short meditation sessions. Even 5 minutes of focused breathing can center your thoughts before a public speaking event. Progressive muscle relaxation. Techniques such as tensing and then releasing muscle groups can help reduce overall tension. 5. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Tip: change your perspective on errors and view them as part of the learning process. Details: shift your mindset. Understand that everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. Rather than fearing them, see each mistake as a chance to improve. Positive self-talk. Replace thoughts like, "I'm going to mess up," with, "Every error is a step toward better communication." Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge improvements, no matter how small. This builds a resilient attitude toward challenges. 6. Prepare thoroughly. Tip: preparation is key to reducing anxiety before speaking in public. Details: know your material. If you have a presentation or meeting, rehearse your content several times. The more familiar you are with your material, the less you'll worry about the language. Practice in front of a mirror or friends. Simulate the speaking environment. This can help you adjust your body language and identify areas for improvement. Create an outline. Organize your thoughts in a structured way. Having an outline can serve as a safety net if you lose your train of thought during your speech. 7. Engage with native speakers. Tip: interacting with native speakers can provide invaluable practice and reduce self-consciousness. Details: casual conversations. Start with simple interactions like ordering food or asking for directions. These low-stakes situations can boost your confidence gradually. Language buddies. Partner with a native speaker who is also learning your language. This exchange creates a balanced environment where both parties learn and support each other. Online platforms. Use apps or social media groups dedicated to language learning to find native speakers for informal chats. 8. Visualize success. Tip: use visualization techniques to prepare mentally for public speaking. Details: positive imagery. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself speaking confidently and engaging your audience. Visualization can reduce pre-speech anxiety. Mental rehearsal. Picture every step of your presentation, from walking up to the podium to receiving applause. This mental rehearsal makes the actual event feel more familiar. Affirmations. Combine visualization with positive affirmations like, "I am confident," or "I express my ideas clearly." 9. Seek constructive feedback. Tip: feedback helps you grow and adjust your approach. Focus on improvement. Use feedback to fine-tune your skills rather than as a measure of failure. Record progress. Keeping a journal or log of the feedback received and the steps you took to address it can help you track your progress over time. 10. Adopt a growth mindset. Tip: embrace the idea that language proficiency is a journey, not a destination. Details: continuous learning. Recognize that every conversation, presentation, or mistake is an opportunity to learn. Be patient. Understand that fluency and confidence are built over time through persistent effort. Celebrate progress. Regularly remind yourself of how far you've come and the improvements you've made, no matter how incremental they might seem. 11th, utilize technology and online resources. Tip: take advantage of apps, online courses, and digital communities. Details: language apps. Use tools like Duolingo, Babbel, or Rosetta Stone to practice vocabulary and pronunciation daily. Webinars and virtual workshops. Participate in online events where you can practice speaking and receive immediate feedback. Recording tools. Many smartphones and computers have built-in recording apps that can be used to monitor your progress and share with language partners. 12. Develop your personal speaking style. Tip: cultivate a speaking style that feels authentic to you. Details: find your voice. Experiment with different speaking styles in front of a mirror or with friends to discover what feels natural. Non-verbal communication. Work on body language, eye contact, and gestures. These nonverbal cues can significantly enhance your message and ease your anxiety. Stay true to yourself. Authenticity resonates with audiences. Instead of trying to mimic others, focus on expressing your unique perspective. Final thoughts. Overcoming the fear of speaking English in public is a gradual process that combines practice, mental preparation, and the willingness to embrace vulnerability. Remember that every expert was once a beginner. By integrating these tips into your routine, you build not only language proficiency, but also the confidence to express your ideas clearly and boldly. With persistence and self-compassion, you'll find that each conversation, presentation, and even small chat is a step toward transforming fear into empowerment. These strategies can be tailored to fit your personal journey, making the process of mastering public speaking a truly enriching experience.